Hello everyone, my name is Aiden Charlip and welcome to the first episode of Rookie Takeover, where KU rookies take their talents to the screen. We have some amazing content today. Emily and Sydney talk about the NFC East matchup last night between the New York Giants and the Washington football team. We have an NFL recap with Gus, Gabe, and Felix. Then we welcome the new members of the Big 12 Conference. Holden talks about Cal's fantasy team and the Playmakers League. All this and more after the intro.
Welcome back, Playmakers. I'm joined today by Sydney Clark. We had quite the weekend last weekend with the return of NFL football. Sydney, what were your thoughts on last weekend's games?
Thanks, Emily. It was a big weekend we had. First off, how about the comeback from the Chiefs?
Honestly, I wasn't sure if they were going to be able to pull it off in the end, but couldn't be happier with the outcome. Patrick Mahomes proved that we can always count on him to bring the team another victory.
I'm hoping he can bring this team another Super Bowl ring this year. On the other hand, Aaron Rodgers had a rough day against the Saints. It was definitely not a good day to have him on my fantasy football team. But hey, Jameis is back, and the Rams wiped the floor with the Bears, and Monday Night Football was unreal. It was an eventful weekend for sure, but hey, I'm happy the Chiefs won, and that's all that matters.
You're right, it was definitely an entertaining weekend. I was glued to my TV all day watching games, plus the big games of the week were all nail-biters, especially the overtime fiasco from Monday Night Football. It was crazy.
Let's talk about this last night game as well. The Washington football team beat the New York Giants 30-29 on a hectic last-second field goal.
Hectic for sure. Washington football team missed a game winner, but a penalty on the Giants gave them a second chance, and the football team capitalized on that one.
With more on the weekend's games, with a breakdown of the QB play across the league, Playmakers' own Gus, Felix, and Gabe gave their own take on what happened across the league. Guys?
Hey Playmakers, I'm Felix.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Gus.
And this is The Huddle. Last week, the NFL kicked off, and with that, we saw many rookie quarterbacks make their regular season debut. For me, I loved it. Love seeing the rookies, love seeing the veterans. But let's break down the newcomers first.
We saw a lot of good things from the rookie quarterbacks this week. And honestly, I think quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, all those guys had, I think, a lot to look forward to this season. I see you wearing the Patriots jersey. What were your opinions on Mac Jones this week?
Yeah, I thought Mac Jones played really, really well. 29 for 39 and 281 yards, and he threw a touchdown to his newest receiver, Nelson Aguilar, the newest acquired for the New England Patriots. You know, with Tom Brady gone, he's not on the team anymore. With no Cam Newton, you know, it's a change, obviously, a rookie quarterback in Mac Jones, but I like the fit for him. I like how he fits into the offense, and I think it's only going to get better from here on out.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a really good look for the Patriots, in my opinion.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence was obviously the #1 overall pick in the draft. Had a lot of expectations coming out of college and high school. Obviously had a great career at Clemson. So let's talk about Trevor Lawrence, Gabe. Like, what stood out to you? He didn't have the greatest game stat-wise, but you have to think it's only going to get better for him from here on out.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars have a lot to look forward to with Trevor Lawrence. He did throw 3 interceptions, but he threw three really good touchdowns. There's a lot for them to look forward to with his stats over his career. That was actually his first loss in both high school and college added up. It was 68 straight wins in the regular season. So it's only going up from here.
Yeah, his ceiling is definitely high. There's no question about it. He has a really high ceiling. Trevor Lawrence is a guy that a lot of people are still going to rely on, in my opinion, for, you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars going down the stretch.
And he had a good form and all that too. All of his fundamentals are there. I just think it's going to take him a minute, just like any other rookie, to get accustomed to the league.
With all the rookie quarterbacks making their debuts this past week, there was one veteran who stood out as well. Patrick Mahomes had some great plays in Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. Felix, let's have you break us down.
If you think about showman, Patrick Mahomes is the name that comes to mind. At last year's Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Chiefs' offense, especially the receivers, got under a little bit of criticism because of their lack of performance. But not Patrick Mahomes. He played really well. A lot of people praised him, even though they didn't win. A situation like that could make the relationship between the quarterback and the receivers a little bit rocky, and the trust could not be there. but this is not what happened. Last Sunday against the Browns, the Chiefs' number 15 threw a ball 48 yards down the field to Tarek Hill, who caught it and ran the remaining 30 yards to score the touchdown that started the Kansas City comeback. Now, let's do a quick breakdown of the play.
He throws it. That's another one. Most in 50 games, and he's only at 47 games passing yards. Being chased as he heaves it. And there, the man is there. It's Hill, able to get away from John Johnson, who was in the locker room to start the quarter.
Did I get surprised with the play? Absolutely not. Patrick Mahomes is the man that made Superman pass last Super Bowl, and Tarek Hill is the fastest man in the NFL. Mahomes ended the game with 337 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Hill ended with 11 receptions for 197 yards and a touchdown. Well, let's get back to the boys.
I'm going to throw it to you. All I want you to do is I want you to take off straight down the field. I'm not even going to look for you. I'm just going to bomb it and hope you're there.
Sounds good.
To be honest, that was a pass. Even Patrick Mahomes would like it.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely had a interesting catch, to say the least. Gabe had a good arm, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of my arm. I'm proud of your catch, man. It did take a few tries, but hey, we'll roll with it, right?
We will definitely roll with it. Well, that's going to do it for us here for this segment of The Huddle. So, Blake and Claire, what'd you think of our play?
I'm sure we'll see that play on SportsCenter Top 10 later this week.
I mean, I don't know if that was the cheetah or if that was our very own Gus.
Let's talk about what to expect this weekend as well. On Saturday afternoon, your own Kansas Jayhawks face off against Baylor in the Big 12 Conference Opener.
Look for this to be a tightly contested game with KU led by transfer quarterback Jason Bean, who had a great game at Coastal. I'm excited to see everyone pack the booth again to support a growing team.
Well, I think we all hope our Jayhawks win. It's Parents Weekend in Lawrence, and we're hoping the boys can feed off the energy off of a bigger crowd. Plus, I mean, who wants to disappoint Mom?
I mean, I sure don't, and we have a full slate of NFL games on tap on Sunday as well. Emily, which games are you most excited for?
I mean, I'm pumped for the Chiefs game against the Raven on Sunday Night Football. Can't wait to see the Chiefs go on the road in what will be a truly early season test.
I mean, I agree. I'm also excited to see Matt Stafford and the Rams face a tough Indianapolis defense. Now, after this commercial break, we will be back with Chad, Namdi, and Jackson to welcome the new members to the Big 12.
For students searching for a way to stay active in an outdoorsy way, the City of Lawrence has bike trails running in every direction, and with the new bike share program, we can stay in shape as we tour the sights of our beautiful city. Clinton Lake is only a short 30-minute bike ride away from Daisy Hill and has the most incredible sunset location in all of Lawrence. Walking campus may give you the KU calves, but biking can give you the KU thighs. Bike Lawrence today.
Welcome, each and every one of you to the Big 12. We are so happy you guys are joining our conference. And once again, we are so grateful you guys are removing Texas and Oklahoma from our everyday lives. But, enough of that. BYU, tell us a little bit about yourselves, what's going on?
It's my pleasure to be here. Us Cougars are ready to get to work playing in one of the best college basketball conferences there is. We have lots of heritage and history to offer. We're also 18th all-time in wins, which is pretty good. And we are also the only team here to have won a national championship in football.
What are you talking about? Do we not exist?
UCF, that 2017 championship does not count. I don't want to hear it. But now that you're in the Power 5, maybe we can get a playoff bid going.
We were born ready.
UCF, I hate to pick on you even more, but what the heck happened to your basketball team? One year you're toe-to-toe with Zion and the Blue Devils, and the next year you're 11-12.
Well, losing Taco Fall is never easy to deal with, but come basketball season, we're destined to play spoiler. Speaking of basketball season, Houston, you made the Final Four. Are we going to see you in the next 20 years?
This time we're here to stay. And Kansas, by the way, thank you for Quentin Grimes. He was a vital part of our Final Four run. We are ready for some epic face-offs in Allen Fieldhouse.
You are welcome anytime. Just don't let the door hit you on the way out. Cincinnati, I'm sure you guys are excited for the reuniting with Bob Huggins, am I right?
Yeah, we're going to run a no quarter zip policy. Press Virginia is not one to mess with, but you better be ready for halftime. Our dance team, 5-time national champions. What's good?
That's good. You guys like to get your dancing out of the way early. We like to save our dancing for March.
Hey, third coach, 3 years, 3 times a charm. We're going to get back to that promised land, I tell you.
Once again, thank you all for joining our conference and for introducing yourselves. I'm sure we are bound to make some great rivalries in the future.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Suite. Today I'm reviewing our very own Cal Butcher's fantasy team that he's been raving about. And then I'll be giving you guys last week's breakdown of the Playmakers Fantasy League. Cal's team, top 3 out of 4, are great with Josh, Allen, Amari Cooper, and Travis Kelce. Najee Harris didn't play great, but I bet he turns that around quickly as he did play every offensive snap for the Steelers. After that, questionable starting Henry Ruggs, a receiver who seems to only be able to run straight down the field, and seems to be turning into a 4th option behind Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, and even newcomer Bryan Edwards. Starting Sterling Shepard, who only had a good game from 1 touchdown and multiple garbage time receptions, and will definitely lose targets when Saquon and even Evan Engram return fully healthy. And Jarvis Landry, who played well on Sunday, but don't expect that for much longer, as the Browns won't be playing from behind and throwing much. And Odell's return is going to take targets away as well. As a fellow Broncos fan, obviously I love the kicker and defense choice. Some tips is to start Melvin Gordon over Ruggs and be prepared to add another more reliable flex to play over Shepard like Elijah Mitchell for the 49ers or even Tim Patrick from the Broncos. As it stands, the team is a C+ at best, but if you make my suggested moves, it might be reaching that B range. Now let's take a look into the Playmakers Fantasy League and how that is shaping up. This week, the top performers were Logan Rosengard's Montgomery Pythons scoring 166 points and beating Blake Sevenberg's Chance Smell's team, even with top receiver Deebo Samuel scoring 32 points off the bench, and Maya Peterson's Poppy's Home Donda scoring 160 points and knocking off Jackson Reed's Certified Lover Boys. Watch out for these 2 teams. They prove to be dangerous in this year's fantasy football season. That's all I have for you today, but let us know how you would grade Cal's team by tweeting us at PlaymakersKU. All right, let's head to Emily Sidney.
Welcome back. With the return of football means the return of everybody's favorite fantasy football. I haven't really gotten into fantasy football, but Sydney, I know you have. How did your teams perform this week?
Well, Emily, I did better than I expected last week. Having Amari Cooper on my team really came in clutch, scoring me 38.9 points, giving my team the win. I put up 132.22 points. Not bad for my first time joining a league.
And who were your best players in those performances?
As you know, once again, the Dallas Cowboys came in clutch, especially Amari Cooper. However, having Aaron Rodgers in my quarterback spot did not do me good, but he is projected to score me 20.5 points this week. But I'm hoping he can redeem himself better than last week.
Sounds like quite the performance for your first team. Speaking of those players, our own Aiden Charlip and Evan Habits are giving their predictions for this NFL season after this commercial break.
As the NFL season kicks off, I have my predictions for who will win each division in the league. Starting with the NFC West, I'm going to have to give it to the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray will take a huge leap this season, and it only helps having a weapon like DeAndre Hopkins. On the defensive side of the ball, I believe that J.J. Watt is a huge pickup for them. If he can stay healthy, he can be that missing piece on their defense that will give them the push they need. For the NFC South, I'm going to pick the New Orleans Saints. Although many people would say the Tampa Bay Bucks, I believe the Saints will win the division by a game or 2, especially after last week's game against the Packers, where they held them to only 3 points. However, the Bucks will still make the playoffs with a wild card spot, but they will have to take a few steps forward before they get there. For the NFC North, I think the Chicago Bears might actually be able to pull off a division win. I think if they give Justin Fields a starting QB job, that they could really get a good chance at winning their division. I would never count the Packers out with the issues that Aaron Rodgers is having and their awful outing against the Saints. It'd be difficult to take them as the winner of the NFC North. Finally, for the last division of the NFC, the East, I'm going to have to give it to the Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts has what it takes to be a playoff quarterback, especially with the weapon of Devonta Smith. Catching passes, I think they could be a great quarterback wide receiver duo this season. But keep an eye out for the Dallas Cowboys to run away with it. With Dak back, the Cowboys are serious contenders. Into the AFC West, just like everyone else, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs. After everything from the past 2 seasons, how could I not? Patrick Mahomes has proven himself as an elite quarterback, and after them being in the last 2 Super Bowls, it would be silly not to take them. For the AFC South, I believe the Tennessee Titans will win the division, but they do have serious improvements to make. Their Week 1 showing was far from impressive. If they don't make drastic improvements, I could see the Indianapolis Colts running away with it. Now for the AFC North, I'm taking my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, of course, I know I'm a bit biased, but after their showing against the Bills, I think they could be an unstoppable force. They need to make some changes, and they have some work ahead of them, but they could easily go on another playoff run and maybe even Super Bowl win number 7. For my last division, the AFC East, I don't find this to be a super hard, competitive division. I believe the Buffalo Bills will win by a landslide. With weapons of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, they could absolutely make a deep playoff run, and there is no reason to pick any other team here. These are my picks for each division and who will win. Evan, what are your picks?
Oh, no, that's a great question. Those are some great questions, Aiden. I'd keep an eye out for the Denver Broncos, especially after that 27-13 win over Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. They may be a big threat to the Chiefs. With the NFL season underway, people are eager to see what their favorite teams and players will bring to the table this season. Even though we're only 1 week in, we can already start thinking about who will win this year's NFL awards. Starting off with the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go in to give this one to the 11th overall pick, Justin Fields. If you look at his stats from his final year at Ohio State, he had 2,100 yards, 22 touchdowns, and a 70.2% completion rate. And this was even during a shortened season. I believe Fields will keep improving and develop into a deadly quarterback with a strong arm and the ability to dart around the field. And after last week's game against Los Angeles Rams, the future is bright. For Offensive Player of the Year, this one was a tougher decision, but I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. He is taking the slight edge over Josh Allen. Looking at his stats from 2019, McCaffrey rushed for a total of 1,387 yards, 56 first downs, and 15 touchdowns. After only playing 3 games due to multiple injuries in the 2020 season, he is looking to bounce back, and so far he's off to a great start with 21 carries and 98 yards against the New York Jets. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball. For Rookie of the Year, I am picking Patrick Surtain II. The rookie cornerback had a total of 38 tackles, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown during the 2020 season at Alabama, and he could be the missing piece that the Broncos are looking for. For Defensive Player of the Year, I'm giving this one to Myles Garrett. Looking at the 2020 season, the defensive end played 14 games and had a total of 45 tackles and 12 sacks. These are some of the best numbers he's put up in his NFL career, and I don't see anyone slowing him down this year. With the ability to lead the defense, the Browns will go far this season. Everybody now likes a good upbeat comeback story, and unfortunately, the NFL story likes to show people that that's a possibility with the Comeback Player of the Year award. For this, I'm going to America's team and their quarterback, Dak Prescott. After suffering a season-ending injury of a compound ankle fracture and dislocation last year, he missed the opportunity to play. I believe he will be able to stay healthy this season and have a standout return to the game, especially after how he played against the Bucs. One of the most important pieces of a football team is the head coach. The NFL likes to reward the Coach of the Year for this reason. For this year, I'm picking the Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski. Looking at his first year, he took the Browns to a winning record of 11-5, as well as making it to the divisional round in the playoffs. Stefanski brings an offensive mindset to the team and works well with a talented offense with players such as Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, and Nick Chubb. Now for the award you all have been waiting for, the MVP of the 2021 NFL season. This was a tough one to pick because there are so many candidates out there, but I think it will end up being Josh Allen. Allen put up great numbers last year, and I expect he will be able to surpass those stats this year. I'm excited to see him work along with other superstars with Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary, and Cole Beasley, as they are looking to become Super Bowl contenders. Now, those are my picks for who will win the 2021 NFL season awards.
Thanks, guys. With just around 3 weeks left in the 2021 MLB season, the awards races are heating up. Many players are making serious cases for themselves to win MVP and the Cy Young. Let's take a closer look at these races, starting with the AL MVP conversation. At this point, it is a two-man race between Angels phenom Shohei Ohtani and Blue Jays prodigy Vlad Guerrero Jr. Shohei has been the favorite almost all year, thanks to his domination at the plate and on the mound. Ohtani is batting .257 with 44 home runs while also maintaining a 3.36 ERA over 115 innings pitched. These numbers have never been seen before, at least not since Babe Ruth was walking around. How could there be any argument that he isn't the runaway MVP? Enter Vlad Guerrero Jr. Vlad is almost every other season in baseball history would be the runaway MVP. He has a legit chance at winning the prestigious Triple Crown Award. Vlad is leading all of baseball with 45 home runs. He leads the AL in batting average at 318 and is only 4 behind the AL lead for RBIs with 103. I believe Ohtani will take home the MVP award unless Vlad does pull off the Triple Crown, which at that point, flip a coin on who will take home the award this year. In the National League, their MVP race is far from over. The favorite is Padres' young star Fernando Tatis Jr. He leads the NL in home runs with 38 despite only playing in 112 games this year due to injuries. He holds a 280 batting average and has driven in 90 runs. Bryce Harper has placed his name near the top of this conversation thanks to a scorching second half. Harper has 32 home runs and an impressive 307 average. He lacks in RBIs with only 73, but the 2015 MVP has placed his name in the conversation again. Some other names involved in the race include Dodgers slugger Max Muncy, National star Juan Soto, and Dodgers newly acquired speedster Trey Turner. Overall, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Bryce Harper will take home his second MVP title and lead the Phillies to the playoffs. The AL Cy Young Award is a weird one because it will most likely come down to two players who have been recently injured. Lance Lynn of the Chicago White Sox is one of those two guys. He recently returned to the mound after a minor knee injury and looked very solid in his return. Lynn has a 2.5 ERA with 161 strikeouts in what has been by far the best year of his career. Lynn needs 21 1/3 more innings to qualify for the award. The other man in the conversation is Yankees ace Garrett Cole. Cole has had himself a great year, hosting a 2.75 ERA and 224 strikeouts. Cole is likely the winner of this award, but hamstring issues could lead to some time on the IL. However, with that being said, the Yankees don't expect him to miss much time. The NL Cy Young race is intense. There are 3 legit candidates for the award. We'll start off with the favorite from the Brewers, Corbin Burnes. Burnes has had an amazing year with a 2.25 ERA and 210 strikeouts. He ensured his name will be at the top of the conversation this year. Another name that's right near the top is Phillies ace Zach Wheeler. Wheeler has himself in the conversation as he hosts a 2.86 ERA with 226 strikeouts. Along with Burnes and Wheeler, a familiar face finds himself in the Cy Young competition again. Dodgers newly acquired ace Max Scherzer is right in the hunt for this award as well. Scherzer has a league-leading 2.17 ERA and 219 strikeouts, and recently he became the 19th player in MLB history to reach 3,000 strikeouts. Scherzer is another name that you could see hoist up that trophy at the end of the year, and in my opinion, I think he should wind up on top. We have an exciting few weeks left in the MLB regular season. Teams are pushing for playoff spots, and players are trying to cap off their stellar seasons. That's all from me. Now let's send it back over to Aiden.
Thanks, Brock. That's all we have for today's show. Make sure to follow us on social media at PlaymakersKU. In addition, stay tuned for our live coverages as KU takes on Baylor this weekend. See you again next Friday at 3 p.m. And lastly, remember, it's not about the game you played, but the plays you make. Rock chalk.